Is anyone on here? Am I just talking to myself? Let's see. Test, test. Well, monkeying around on the YouTubes today instead of the Twitter tubes or the Discord tubes. I cannot see who's actually in here. If you guys are from Merck, why don't you go ahead and say hi? If not, that's fine as well. Do a hello. If you guys have any questions, that's fine as well. I'm just trying to make a description box here. There we go. There we are. So what I was looking for was, let's go to this chart over here, just a little bit clearer. You can see a bigger picture. Globex got up to 34, I believe 34, 35, and sold off of there. Got up to 34, 35, and we ended up opening back below this 06 area, this very important 06, which has been our balance low for a number of days. It's been quite an important spot. We got back below 06, and we opened inside of Friday's range and Friday's high of the day, which to me was not too productive. On top of that, we opened below this auction over here. The auction block was, I think, 86 or 87, something like that. We opened below it, which was not great. That's why I wrote pre-market that if we break 86s, we'd probably see 62. Low of the day is 59-ish. After that, we spent some time. It's a little bit hard to see here. Let me see if I can narrow that down. What happened was we were churning around here. I think it's 69.5 is the number. And we sold off and then came back up and we started churning again at that 69.5. And instead, this time we broke it to the upside. Interestingly, we were not able to break the high of the day. I was trying to find a short around that euro close time, but unfortunately it didn't get up towards the open, and I wasn't interested later. I'd monkeyed around on my chart a little bit, and unfortunately my number on this chart was showing the right number, 92.75. However, on the footprint it was showing 91s. I'm just realizing you guys can't see this chart. Give me 1 second on OBS. Trying to play with this. Let me try something. I'm new to the streaming game. Give me a second here. I swear I can trade better than this, better than what you're seeing. So give this a few seconds. Let's see if you guys can see the change in screen. I think we're running on like a 10 or 30 second delay. There we go. I believe you should be able to see us now. Yes. There we go. All right. So what I was talking about, sorry, was that we opened underneath of this position, which we auctioned around in the 86s. We lost this kind of 86 auction where we opened up here. So not only did we lose this auction, we're opening inside of Friday's high. Overall, not great, especially after getting above this 06 area. So what I was looking for and what I told pre-market was below 86 I was looking for 62. Around 59 is the low of the day. And we were unable to run the high of the day, which was a little bit interesting. So I was looking for a short around the euro close. The thought being that the euros covered their shorts, were distributing, and there wasn't going to be enough energy, let's say, enough people bidding it up to get a move above the high of the day until we spent some time building position. Once the position was built, I did not want to short here. Instead, I was looking for 93.75. This chart had 92.75. I forgot to update the other one that had 93.75, so unfortunately I missed that trade. Could not get filled when I slid my order down to the 91s, and now we're coming down. This 71 to 76 area to me has just been kind of a choppy area, which I'm not too interested in trading in. So the 71 to 76 area. To me, instead, I've been using it as a measure of momentum today. What I think is going to happen now is that we'll probably go ahead and crack the lows of the session. I'd be really surprised if we hold this 53, and instead I think we're going to start coming into a gap down to 3,800. So that could start getting a little bit ugly here. But we're going to take it one step at a time. Let's get you guys back onto this screen over here. There we go. And let's see if we can see that. Give me 1 second while the stream on my end loads, and I can see if this is working the correct way. There we go. Looks like it's working. Let's see if a few more of you pile in. I've got just shot it out into some discords. So what's happening here right now is we're just auctioning around, and we're unable to get below, get above, sorry, yesterday's value area low at 74.5. So what I'd look for is, if we start trading inside of 74.5, there's a good chance we just end up churning around between 74.5 to 85 for a good amount of time. Yeah, you got weekly view up around there, but more so, as you can see, it's hard to get above there earlier. And that's where our initial high of the day was. The overnight low is right around 82.75. That's where the open is. So you probably churn around to the upside, 82 to 86, and to the downside is that 71, right? So right now there isn't too much to do. It's not too exciting. You're just churning between 71 and 86 more or less. If we start giving up the 70s, 71, that's when I'm going to look for us to come down and break this 62 to 59 area and crap out. If you guys have any questions, it'd be useful if you type them in the chat. Otherwise, I don't have too much to talk about. Unfortunately, I'm not as entertaining as Jingle or anyone else like that. So, if you'd like, we can talk about where this number came from. Let's switch over to this screen. Yikes. Hopefully that's showing. There we go. 65 half, I was looking for the bid in the morning just because we took a look here, and yes, you can't see that. Let's get rid of these little indicators and all this crap. Let's just look at what actually is happening. Here is the open. Here's yesterday's open. What we had yesterday was an open just a point off of the prior week's low, and there was a lot of short covering which drove us up to this area here, and you get an auction that takes place which results in a move up to last week's low at 86.75. That's where we hit to the tick. There's 86.75, and here's the low of the week from a couple of weeks ago at 86.75. So again, you get a short cover, an auction, which leads to a move to 86s. It holds yesterday's half, or sorry, Friday's half, and then you end up eventually auctioning around that 86 number, which results in the move up at the end of the day. You can probably move this to a 5 minute and see the same thing a little bit clearer. Maybe a 3 minute. Short cover, auction, move up to that weekly low at the 86s, kind of dilly-daddle around, unable to close the gap at the highs, sells off, holds Friday's middle right around 74 repeatedly, auctions around the 86s, and that results in a gap close, rips everyone's stops, and then the pump into the end of the day. Today you fall back inside Friday's range, the idea being that you'll fall back from the balance. You can draw a balance from something like this. Something like that for your highs and lows, as you can see. That's your one balance. You fall back inside of Friday's highs, and then you lose this auction in the 87s, which causes the sell down to this key auction at 64 half, I believe is what I had, what I did not get filled on when I was trying to hit it long. I was not interested in bidding below that 64 half just because they've been relying on we got last week's value area low at 61 quarter, and it's kind of a leveling area on Friday, but that main auction, which drove us up to 86.75, that's at 94 half, so 64 half, right? That's over there. That's this. To me, once you lose this is lower probability of holding. This was simply a short cover, and you're looking for initiative buying to come in over here. Whereas this is it's a retracement from an auction when you're hitting this. Anyway, failure to take that the day's high of the day, so I was looking for a short around 11:30, didn't get it. Position is built, held off on a short. Instead, was looking a short 92.75, 93.75 is again, I have the number wrong. 92.75 is the number I had on a different chart and should have used. That's giving us that sell-off back towards around Friday's middle. And you can see it's kind of been a pivoty area in general today. Let's delete this. Right now there's an auction at 69 half. If you want to zoom in. When I'm referring to an auction, a high is put in, a low is put in, and then we're auctioning inside that range. We make a decision and pump up higher. And right now we're just kind of holding that auction zone. Very choppy. Averaging just over 2,500 contracts a minute. Got 30 minutes of sideways action here. In my opinion, for a move lower to break the lows of the day. If you watch high time frame charts, high time frame trend lines at all. On the daily chart, we just broke down the trend line from 617 to 914. 617, so you're talking about the low of the year to 914. Yeah, I had one trend line. So usually I'm not a fan of. Usually I'm not a fan of diagonal lines, just because I think people look a little bit too much into them. You have your rising wedge crowds, right? So usually I think it's a little bit overdone, but I will look at a diagonal line to get an idea of momentum. Just like the market profile guys look at one time framing, right? One time framing up or down or this or that. I've got an idea of these diagonal lines, but I don't really care that much. It's not some huge deal that we broke that diagonal. To me, I would rather look at things horizontally, and you can measure, just like I've told you, this pocket in the 86s, that this auction in the 86s, which we lost, that's what leads to that move into the 62s. That's why I was looking to short the 93s. Maybe if I was a swing trader, I might pay a little bit more attention, but for the most part, I don't really see a point to it. Hope that helps. For what it's worth. Jesse, are you in the YouTube today or what? So there's a Discord as well. If anyone's here from a different place, there's a Discord in the bio. That's where I post the plans, as well as on Twitter if that's easier. But that's where I'm doing stuff. Let me just get rid of that. Let's see. These are just auctions and the significance of them. I used to write them down, now I don't really write them, but they're usually quite useful. I do not blindly take all of them, as I don't really see a point. Right now might actually be a good example. So, volume profile, here is a high, and now we try and find where the low is established. And we auction side of it until we break that swing high. So the auction POC is at 72.25. And that's where we tagged the tick, and we're going to move up to 74.25. So again, with ranges this tight, you're not going to get a ton of MFE, a lot of points out of it. But these auction POCs tend to work within 2 points of heat. And if you use them inside of a larger context, they can give quite a bit of points. Like for example, up here, what I was looking at was this as being our low here in the 87s, and then I was looking at 87s as our low. The high is established. We kind of auction around until we break that 87 number. The auction POC is at 90, just about 89.75 or 90. There would be the short, and then that leads to the sell-off, right? But that's part of a larger thesis that we're looking for a short in this area in general. So that just happens to give a more precise entry once we break 87s. In other words, if you wanted a confirmation trade it would be to know that, okay, this probably selling off at the 92s. Let's see it break the bid here, the 87s, and then take the short in the 90s. That's one way you could look at it. You see the bid in the 87s, bid, right? You wait for a high to be made, the bid to break, and then you take the POC of that area. So again, here's the bid, high is made, and I like how it sold off of it really nicely and never touched it again. When you wait to see this 87 bid break, so we're waiting to see it break, there it is, it's broken. And you just look at the POC of that, which is at 89 or 90, right around 90. And you short it. So that took about 3 ticks of heat and gave you the sell-off. But again, it's because it's part of a larger thesis. And there we go. Now we're selling off again. So if I was looking to find the short now, I want to see this break. Which it might have. There we go. There's the break. Here's the low at 70. Here's the high at 75. Now we're auctioning in that 70-75 area. There's the break. Let's run a POC. So I'd be looking for a short around 74. So what I do is, I look for this. I'll just draw it out like that. So now I know there's an auction at 74. Got 10 of you in here. Anyone has questions? Lay them out. Starting to move. Let's see if we hold this area again at 67-ish. Let's switch you guys to the footprint. So 74 should offer a sell. Let's see what we get here. I'm not looking to trade in the zone. So in general, I'm looking to trade in that 90-ish area for shorts from about 91 to 95-ish. That's where I'm looking for shorts. And then from 02 to 07, I'm looking for longs. I'm honestly not interested in buying dips at those lows. It's just not going to be great. So it should have been 91 quarter to 95 half. So now we're trading back below yesterday's value area low at 74.5. I wouldn't be surprised if this area down here, so we can scroll back, you can see there are some large orders there at 61 quarter, around 60-ish. You might get some short covering here. There was, without a doubt, shorts were trapped here, right? You had a lot of people piling in the lows, they get jammed, price rises. There are probably still shorts looking to cover down here. There are trapped shorts here. So what I would be looking for but not trading off of, because it's a low probability move, is for these guys to get a bid somewhere. These should catch a bid. Dom, are you watching this right now? So Dom's talking to me from the Merc, that Discord. There's an invite in the description box there, but Dom was saying I need to sign off like Cronkite. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. There we go. So we're getting into the lows again. So again, I think this gets a little bit of short covering, but ultimately I think we're cracking these lows, and then it's getting a little bit ugly. You guys should be able to see this. There we go. Come on. Load, you piece of shit. Thank you, Dom. It'd be nicer if I got my numbers right? I'm just seeing if this is loading. I don't know if you guys can see my. No, you guys are seeing a black screen. Sorry about this, guys. Brand new to the. There we go. Brand new to the YouTube game. So what I'm looking at is I have some sort of zone here. It's an old one from 20 to 35, and it's wide. I know that. If we scroll back, I know, yeah, it was kind of this zippy back and forth action here. It was some kind of pivot. If you want to put a precise number, it's probably 25-ish, if I had to think about it. It's clearly been in some sort of balance high. But I think these swing lows will be taken out. I said this in my weekly plan, or maybe yesterday's video that I posted here to YouTube, that I think these swing lows are ultimately going to get taken out. We're going to close this gap here from, what is that, 3820-ish? On the 1975 to about, yeah, to the whole number at 3800. So that 20-point gap, I think, is going to get closed. These swing lows will be taken out. I'm not going to be trading here. I'll probably get at least one session to see where the zones are in there, the actual precise level. For now, we'll hold off. let's see, just a little bit so you can see this 3-day range here. Let's go to the weekly plan as well. I'll show you guys that. So on the weekly plan, what I was looking for was, and I wrote this in the, I made a video on it, which was I was looking for us to either close the gap and straight up just reject and break this area, or close the gap and move up to here before rejecting. And we didn't even get up to the 60s, to last week's pocket, 67.75. We didn't even get there. Forget about the weekly value area high in the mid over here. We couldn't even get to the block. Instead, again, we sold below this 86 position. We opened below that, sold off, held the lows once, but it looks like we're setting up to crack them. I think this is probably it for the bulls. And once this cracks, you have all of this 3 days of inventory above you. That's our minor support on the week at 3,800, the gap close. The key support is down here at 3,744. And again, just like I showed in that weekly video, it's just our balance. Here we go. It's just our balance, right? See that? Just rotating around here. You know, you guys should join the Merc just to see Dom's memes. I think that alone is worth it. The Discord's free, by the way. I should probably point that out. So here we go. So we're coming into that 62 area. Let's see what we get. Let me just let me flip this to the daily. Let's go on the. Let's show you guys the thingamajigger, the footy. There you go. You should be able to see that now. Let's see what we get. There we go. So the reason this isn't instantaneously flushing is because we are getting those short covered bids from earlier in the day, right? So you see those bids popping up, and it's too far back to scroll back, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have some sort of light bidding in this 50 area. But ultimately, again, I think we're going to creep our way down to the 3,800s. Would have been nice to have a runner here, Dom, wouldn't it? Have a runner from 92 3/4 and flatten it at 3,800. make $500 on one MES. That'd be fun. Just talking to Bowser, some of you guys know him. Just talking about swing time frames, and my date splits down into the October. Yeah, I'm not looking to swing anything until maybe 30, maybe the low of the year to 37.50 would be where I was looking. I tried to get short at 41. 37-ish was where I was looking for the swing short. And I just missed it. A little bit too precise. So there's 61.25, I think, to the tick giving the bid on our level. So it's just a light short cover bid. I don't think this is going to be anything real, if you want to put it that way. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would. If I was short 73 to 75, Dom's just posting the mark. If I was short 73 to 75, I would 100% be out. 70 to 80% of position. What could likely happen? What could very well happen is you get a short covering up into these 74, 75 areas, and then you're back at your cost basis. And to me personally, once you're up, 10 points, 15 points, maybe you let your runner go back to break even. But me personally, once I'm 5 points in the money, that's great. Here's some big orders showing up. 2,100 contracts, 1,000 contracts. Let's see what we get here. Big orders. Let's see. This is slow action, but the volume has picked up. We're doing 3.4 contracts a minute, 3,300-ish. 3,375 on average. To me, I think this is almost definitely cracking last week's low as well as our weekly open at 54. But let's see. Let's see what we get. That auction that we discussed is at 73, I believe, is the number. Sorry, it's at 74. So 74 would be the number to watch. So not only are these auctions, hi Jack, nice to meet you. Not only can these auctions be used for to actually take trades off of, but you can also use it as a measure of who's in control, right? If you see this 74 auction, 74 to 76, if you see this get broken, then you know that sellers are not keeping a lid on this, right? It's pretty simple. You know that they're not. Whereas if you're just using levels, you tend to be you're kind of missing what's happening in between the tag of those levels. For example, if you had 86 as a level to 87, yesterday's POC as a level, you might You might have not realized that we opened below that auction yesterday in the 86s. You would have missed that we opened below that auction, which was quite bad. You would have missed that we were holding the 64s really well. That area. You would have missed the auction that built here, sold off, and then built another one at the same price and moved up. These auctions can just be useful in telling you where to pay attention to throughout the day. No problem, Matthew. Thank you for joining. If you guys have questions, you guys can just drop them. Or if you join the Merc, the link's in the bio. It's free. If you join there, I can probably give you a more in-depth answer if it's something I got to drop. This bid has been pretty weak so far. The tape overall is kind of slow down here. It's slow, but we're moving nice orders. Good size. So when you see a tape that's just kind of slow with a lot of smaller amount of contracts trading, like this stuff here was nothing, right? Not a lot of contracts trading. The volume is light. That's indicative of just, it's meandering around. That's more so chop. When you see the orders piling up like they are here, this is indicative that something's actually going on underneath the surface. You want to create a narrative so you can figure out what's happening. I'm going to make some notes here for some streams I want to talk about. There we go, we're getting that selling coming in again. Sorry, MHC. Maybe I'll talk a little bit louder. I tend to speak pretty quietly when I'm on the mic. Is this better? The stream's a little bit delayed, so I'll wait for you to respond. I also probably should just buy a proper headset instead of streaming off of my Bose headphones. A bit. Oh, wow, there we go. There we go. That's what I was looking for. This might be so close that it starts distorting. You can let me know. And now I'm holding it close to my face. There we go. There's the break of the lows that I was looking for. So we have the July clock at 38.57. Below that, the weekly open at 54, and below that, prior week's low at 53. So we got some important numbers around here. Let's see if they just simply drive right through the 53s, or if there's a little bit covering at the weekly open at 54. There's a little bit of covering happening right now at 38.53, at 54, sorry, at the weekly open. Driving down, driving down. Again, I would not be looking to buy this. The trade was to short the 92s. AZS. AZS. Are you from the Twitter tubes or from the Merc? Or from another Discord that I'm in? Oh, JJ's room. Jack London from your gym club. You want to give more details? Yeah, sorry about the mic, you guys. I'll fix that up in the future. I'm working on that. Jack London. I'm gonna have to look you up on Instagram, you know that. So, joking. So I would consider actually hitting this long now, this 53. So what you've had is the stop run down to 51.5. If I wanted a lower probability but extremely high RR trade, it would be to long 53s for a move back in towards the initial low of the day at 60. What was that, 59? I'd look for 59 to get tagged. We also have an imbalance on the tape around that 59 area. So I'd be looking for that to do its work. Let's see what we get here. Again, this would be a high RR but lower probability trade. Right? Stop would be at 51. The idea being is that if shorts keep pounding on this and there's no movement in price after that initial stop run, if they can't get price to move and instead keep pounding on it, eventually they're going to run out of supply and this thing's going to get squeezed. And you just pick a high probability location like the initial low of the day at 59. I would take out something like half at 55, keep my stop at 51. At worst, it becomes a scratch trade. Then I would take out the majority. I'd be flat at 58, 59. Building 3 pox in a row here. There we go. Let's see if we get some lift off. There we go. There's 55 quarter. So if I was long off at 53, I'd be out half at 55 quarter. The risk is now taken out. Stop would stay at 51. Got 2.5 hours still left in this day. It's been a long day. This is brutal. So in general, what I'd be looking for is I think this should be able to get a move up towards that 59. I doubt it gets up into these 70s. Instead, I think it's probably going to get capped by the 60 area. But we should be able to get that move in the 59s. Ultimately, I think we're heading to this gap area at 3,800-ish. Thank you, Dom. Unfortunately, it looks like the YouTube stream must be delayed just about 30 seconds or so on your guys' end. So these live calls end up being a little bit difficult. However, you can see it's live on my end, so shouldn't be any doubts to the validity of it. I'm just explaining something to a friend. Yeah, Discord, I'm fairly certain, is just about live. It looks like it's not so much the case on YouTube. It does seem like there's a good delay going on YouTube's. Ooh, Dom making a good point. Give me 1 second, Jack. 25 seconds. Dom is recommending switching latency to 25, to low latency, and seeing if we can get a faster thingamajiggy. Okay, don't do it now. I was going to do it now. That tells you how good I am with this tech shit. Yeah, I guess we'll monkey with that for next time, hey? Are you Jack, when you're referring to the lower red zone, are you referring to the 53 to 57 area? Is that what you're saying? Or do you mean the one in the 30s? Oh, there we go. We got our move to 59. Look at that. There we go. So again, that's an example of a trade where I personally won't take it, right? Because to me, you get nicked out a lot of the times. It's an area where you long 53, your stop is below this stop run at 51. The idea being, if it gets to 51, that would take genuine selling to get down to 51, not just a run of stops to get to 51 after this stop run has occurred. 53 is the last week's low. So the idea being that if you're holding last week's low, you get a couple points into 55, you take your risk off, you leave the rest of your position stop at 51. At this point, I would have it moved up to 53, no doubt. It comes to 59, which was that initial low of the day, earlier in the day. And the majority of the position would be off here. If you were long 10 contracts, let's say, I would peel 5 off at 55. I would be out another 3 or 4 at 59. And then maybe I leave 1 or 2 as runners with the stop at break even. Right? So Jack, I put out a video the other day on how I create levels, so that would be a useful video for you. But in general, what I'm doing is I look at structural levels a lot. So prior week's value area low is at 61 quarter, the prior week's low is at 53, the weekly open is at 54, the July POC is at 57. So in general, I look at these structural levels, and then I see how prices kind of wiggled around in them. And these end up being areas that I'm interested in. And you can see something that I changed as of recently is that I now color these zones based on if I want to long them or short them. So I'm not interested in bidding at these lows. So I held off. That's why they're red. I'm interested in shorting the 92s. So that was red. I had nothing in between because I think it's just mindless. I didn't want to short this area up here. I was looking instead, if it got bid up to the 18 area, I would look for a long if it came back down. This just has to do with a larger theme of how balance works, how momentum, balance, stops, all that sort of shit works out, right? So if you look at that, that video on levels, it'll make a lot of sense. It'll make a ton of sense, and once you do, you can do the exact same thing. It's not black magic over here. What you would consider this is if you wanted to put it more in sort of market profile-y kind of terms, is you would consider a look below and fail. So they looked below last week's low at 53, failed to drive through it. Instead, you get back inside 53. That's when you hit it long, and then you peel the risk at 55, and then you look for that imbalance at 59 to fill, right? So I've got some friends who are short at 58. Let's see how they do. I think they're looking for, they might be looking for one tick off the low of the day, I think. Let's see, they're at 58, 6 1/4, it's 51.75. So yeah, they're looking for one tick off the low of the day here. That's a pretty aggressive short. Pretty aggressive. So again, in my opinion, I wouldn't want to be short here, just because what I think happens is, because this now traps so many shorts again, you're going to get this kind of churny action. You're probably going to get this churny action, and then eventually it falls through. With that said, I would not be looking to long this. The long, in my opinion, was over here. Let's see if they get their trade. Come on, guys. 51.75. There we go. I don't know if they got filled just yet. There we go. Now they're filled. Hey, nice. There we go. Now we're flashing. Now you can see what I was saying. I don't think you should be. I don't think you should be looking for really more than 59 on the long, and why I would not be looking for another long here. Instead, you're getting that push down again. Shorts are hitting this really, really hard. Let's see what we get. Oh, I see 52 was actually an old auction as well from, geez Louise, what is this from? It's from July 18th. Wow. There's another auction at 32.75. That is a long time ago as well. So now we have an auction at low, 65-ish. I have an auction in the 65s and another one at 56.75. There we go. All right. Now I believe we had an overnight low on Friday at 46-ish. Yeah, 46 quarter. So it looks like we're holding that just now. Something important to note is that any sort of action done during glowbacks tends to just be, it's on such low volume, right, that usually is just a shit show. The breadth is absolutely dog shit right now. Hey, Cloud, how's that runner treating you? Did he toss out a runner, or you usually have your runners up? So what I want to see is this current low of the day, which matches up with that glowback's low. I want to see if we can take that out. Hey, Cloud, remember when I miswrote my level at 93.75 instead of 92.75? Fuck. Kill me. All good. So now what I'm going to be looking for is to see if 54s can keep us down. 54 being the weekly open, 53 is last week's low. We should be able to get some momentum down into 38.20-ish, I believe. The breadth is absolutely horrendous right now. I'm killing myself over that short I missed, Cloudy, in the 92s. It was funny. Badger was, not Badger, I think Bowser, Acro. I was talking to a few of those guys, and they're like, what are you talking about? Short this? No way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, this is a great short. Give me this short at the 92s. At the 93s. Fuck me. Oh, man. You know, Cloudy, something I've been noticing actually, and I've got it. You know, the longer I trade, the more and more I end up being like you and Mr. JX is. I've been noticing most of my losses end up being in those. Remember I was showing you those auction trades, those really fast auction trades, the backfills of the auctions. I'm noticing if you take those when they're not in a zone of interest in general, if you're just kind of taking them wherever, I think they're not too hot. Yeah, Bowser. I think he's longing this shit right now. Long 48s. He's up 500 points on the day on ES in total. You know, like per if you counted all his contracts. Man's hot. He woke up at like 2 a.m. or whatever it was. He shorted 39, 35 or some crap. I think that's just it, right? I think that auction setup is really great when you combine it with an area of interest that that you have. I was showing something I was showing the stream was that it's kind of hard to see on here. Maybe I should be showing the candle chart, but so let's say 92.75 is your level, but you're scared and you need confirmation, right? What you can do is to wait to see. Fuck. Let's pull up the candle chart. This is too hard to see on this shit. There we go. So what I was showing was if 92 is your swing high, if you think that's the short, but you know you're scaredy poopy pants, what instead you can do is to wait to see this 87 bid go. Once you see that 87 bid get cleared out over here, that's when you can look for the backfill, in my opinion. So you know, that's when you run the volume. Oh fuck! I turned on horses. Oh no, I didn't. Once you see that 87 bid crap out, that's when you can run the auction clock, and it spits out 90, and then that's when you can short 90 with a stop above the swing high. You know what I mean? So that would be more of an example of how you could use that auction trade. Is you have an idea of where the high will be, you wait to see the bid get taken out over here, you know, this 87 bid, you wait to see it get cleared out, then you take the retracement POC entry, and then that gives you your flush. But that's because it's part of the bigger thesis that you want to short the 90s. Interesting. What did you write? Yeah, man, you can just apply a couple filters. Interesting. Oh shit, we're falling. Stop shorting, Miss Cloudy. Very anti. I've got to say, Cloudy, very non-patriotic of you to be shorting. Personally, I'm an American patriot. Yeah. You fucking Californians or whatever you are. Whatever you are now. I know you hopped. Oh, let's get the footprint back on. There we go. Yeah, it's just something interesting, right? Like, again, if anyone's watching this, I would not be trying to buy the fucking dip right now, and that's coming like. Look, I was offered at I think 41.37 on last Monday. I think I longed. I don't know. Look, I'm the first person to catch knives and slam down rockets, but I'm not catching this knife. Should be off to 4K pre-FOMC. They dare have. You know what? I'm surprised. I thought after yesterday, I thought we would get that. You know, I don't know about 4,000, but I was thinking we'd ramp this thing up to 3950s, 3980 kind of area. You know. Maybe 4,009 to 17 if they're really feeling juicy. I was surprised that they shit this thing out. When we opened below that 86 area, I thought it was funny you had your number. We won't discuss where you had your number, but when we opened below 86, I was surprised, right? Because that was the auction that led to that late day pump. So to me, it was weird. Not only did we open below 06, that kind of balance low, We opened below that 86, which was just fucking weird. And that's why I had in that plan, it said below 86, I'm looking for 62. And the idea was, even if 86 did catch a bid, I thought we'd get capped in the 90s. There we go. Now we're getting some short covering. Should I join you, Cloudy? Should I join you? I'm not going to monkey this on full size. I don't like that. Tick is trying to get positive here. Let's see. See if we can run some stops and then make a move up. Back into the open of the week at 54. All right, give me 54. Do it. Do it. Come on. Come on, rip the stops here at 50. Then stop to the dot on 54. Don't make me take any heat. That'd just be un-American. Is this low? 51.5, I think. Yeah, 51.5. Looks like it's just piling up to bump it up. Not much of a stop run. I always get Bowser posting his crazy charts. Ah. Gosh, let's stop outside. How about that? For real. Okay. Here we go. Might get 252. Bowser makes me really want to learn Wyckoff and all that. I don't know. See, when I watch Bowser stuff, I can never tell if it's like the Wyckoff stuff that's working or if it's or if it's like his algorithms that are working. You know? Because like, so he'll post a pic. So he had balance, for example, between 72 and 88-ish, give or take a point, which I thought was completely off. He had it between 72 and 88, which to me I thought was off. I thought balance is from 53 to like 90-ish. And then there's another balance from 06-ish to 45-ish. Same with the levels he posts. They're like they're not like fucking ridiculously off, but to me they're never like bang on. So I wonder if that sort of stuff just gives him like a general idea, and then he looks to the algorithms to give him the bang on precise locations. So I mean he gets them. His stops are 2 points, right? It's not like he's way off and he's got a 20-point stop or some shit. He's long right now from like 40 something. I think 44 or something. 45. He's long at 45. That's where he is. Something else that I realized watching him and Badger is that like, so both of them, Badger had a day where he had like a 16% win rate and he was up a healthy amount of money. And I realized it's because they kind of do the opposite approach of you and me, Cloudy, where we might take, 2 or 3 trades and we're like, oh, that's great. 2 or 3 trades, we hit our scalps, it's awesome. They instead will take, I don't know how much money they must pay to Thinkorswim, but they pay a lot of, they take a lot of trades. The idea being is that if you keep hitting the mean reversion, eventually you're going to get that big move, right? Bowser will trade at all hours of the fucking day. Like he shorted that 39, 35 or whatever, 34, whatever it was, kind of around the overnight high. They probably take 50 to 100 trades a day. I wouldn't be surprised. Badger at some point usually hops on the trend. Like I don't know if he's trading right now, but like I think this morning he kept longing around the 60-ish area, and eventually he gets that move into the 90s. But Badger will just keep, I mean, he's been buying this whole dip. And the idea being is his stops are 2 points. He takes half the position off at 5 points. And then the rest he lets ride for a huge swing. To me, it's crazy. And that's why he always shits on me because, I get off at whatever, 5 points, 10 points, whatever, something like that. 3 to 10 points is kind of that's what I like to do. But he always talks shit. He's always saying I should have given more, taken more points. But I get it. If you're taking 50 trades a day, yeah, just keep. Who gives a shit if your runners break even? Just hit it again. If you're short at 55 and your runners get hit 55, fuck it, short it again at 57. Fuck it, just keep shorting it. And the math works out. And like as long as your levels are generally pretty good, I get it. I totally get it. I get it. Totally. It's interesting seeing it's interesting when Badger's doing it without at least Bowser's got the algorithms or whatever. Badger told me he trades off of one screen. It's a laptop. He trades off of a laptop, and he texts me on a Thinkorswim. Whoa, that was a weird move up. Not really sure if I want to short this. Let's try a stream trade. I don't like trading on stream, especially with that weird ass order. Let's see. Let's see if it sells off here. Oh my god. No fill. Even when you were trading with the footprint and all that, were you trading off of just the MacBook? That's crazy to me. That's nuts. Interesting. See, I just see what you guys are looking at right now on the footprint. That's what I'm looking at. Like that is on the center screen. Off to my right is the exact same thing, but just on candles. They're both 3-minute charts. Above that is just bullshit like Discord and all this stuff. That's nice. I didn't get filled at 54. All right, canceling the order. Fuck me. So it's pretty much just this footprint. To the right is that candle chart I showed you guys. Above it is just Discord and shit. To my left is that you know that crazy chart I've shown you before with all the structural levels. That shit's off to my left. Like I have to turn my head to look at it, so like it pretty much doesn't exist. I'm more or less just trading off of two screens, which is showing me the exact same thing. Just one's on a candle, one's not. Yeah, fuck me, hey. Don't you love it when I don't get filled? Yeah, fuck. That would have been bang on. That trap traders thing is very similar to how I'm looking at those auctions. That's nice. Like right now, there's definitely people who are fucked up in here. Another, I showed the stream this earlier, but I was saying there's your stop run to 51.5, and once it got back inside last week's low, you could take a long at 53, take half out at 55, keep your stop at 51, your risk is off, and then look for that initial low of the day at 59 and get tagged. And that's where you'd be out, 90% of your contracts. I told them, I was saying, I think it's pretty unlikely we start filling out this 65, 68, 75 area. I think you're not going to get there. But similar ideas. I really, really, really like the idea of playing off of trap traders. It's just so smart. Ah, fucker. Try it again at 53. Oh, God. Okay, 53. Where did my stock be? 55? Yeah, I don't like that we're spending so much time here. All right. That's so interesting. I mean, it makes sense too, right, for 2021? Because think about it, like equities were selling off in 2021. You had equities selling off, yet at the same time you had ES going up. So if you were trading futures, you're like, oh, this shit should be going down. I could definitely see like hedge fund boys being pissed off that, oh, this thing's going up, I'm just going to keep shorting it. So I'm short half size at 53. Stop is 55. I think this might get popped. Yeah. That stops 54 quarter. Am I at 53? Stop with break even. I'll gladly take half out here. Yeah, whatever. See what happens to the rest of it. First, let me just make sure my orders are right. Okay, good. You could easily first serious money made from scalping. Whenever I look back, I realize best trades are when I got to think about them now. Yeah, see, I'm trying to lean. Hey, glad we're making the rounded top. This will backfill at some point, probably off of my entry. Once this bid goes, once this 50 bid gives, we're gonna have a POC somewhere between here and here, so wherever that is. Should we buy it? So it's got to get rid of the 49 quarter bid, 49-ish. Once it does that, the POC's pretty low. I might be okay. I'm running short. Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to do. So here, if we pull this up, so you can see. Maybe you got some ideas. Oh, come on, don't give me a black screen. Oh, almost showed my interactive brokers. That would not be good. How come I can't do this? Good Lord, I feel like an idiot. There we go. Okay. Oh, I'm making cloudy shortly. Yeah, where am I putting this thing at? I'm gonna get rid of a couple more at 47. Oh, can I do this fast enough? I should probably use the DOM. I'm just stupid. One second. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, 47. That should be. We should get our back feeling here, probably off of 51. Yeah, fuck. Okay, yeah. I think you guys are looking at this screen now. Yeah, okay, good. Can you tell I'm ADHD, Cloudy? So the idea nowadays is that I try. So what I've actually been doing is creating these plans now the day before, like the night before, because I figure if I create it the night before, it's even less thinking. I'm gonna get tagged here, I think. Yeah. I got tagged. I'm surprised this is shooting up so far. That's impressive. The thought being is that if I make these plans the night before, there's so much less. Thank you, Mrs. Core. I'm trying to create these plans the night before, just because there's so much less emotion tied when you're doing that the night before, and I can think a bit clearer, right? It's better than, we're up at 5 a.m., right? You're kind of sleep deprived. You're trying to figure out your plan. You're trying to figure out the exact level to get in, right? To me, it's better to just create it the night before, and in doing so, what I'm trying to do is figure out areas where, like, okay, the bulls have to hold this. So if we clear it to the upside, I was looking for this to be just a limit order spot. This I should have wrote as the bear must hold once we opened here. And that would have, again, been the limit order spot. If we broke the lows, this would have been my spot. But anyway, what I'm trying to do is create areas that where I don't have to think about. Because what I'm realizing is, although I'm really, really good, yeah, that's the thing, right? Planning in the morning, it's just tough. Like, okay, if we lived on the East Coast and we could sleep in till, I don't know, 8 a.m. Oh, beautiful. At least that would be a little less shitty, right? But, that's the thing, like, in the morning it's just so tough to do. So I like, oh, Jesus Christ, this thing's, I would not short this thing. I had my opportunity. I get an extra hour in 4 days. Yeah, I heard you're moving. My brother's over there. I don't know if he's in Salt Lake or that the other city. I don't remember all of them. His warehouse is at one of them and something else somewhere else. He's got a brand that sells Mormon women's clothing, and then the other one is the wooden flower business. Uh, anyway, what I'm trying, dodge a bullet. Yeah, see that's the thing. Like, this is my problem, right? Usually, I'm on stream, I'm kind of chatting with you, so I'm not really paying too much attention. But usually, I would have been out the majority at 49, 4 points, right? I risk 2 per trade, so I take 4 per trade, and I know I usually get more than 4 anyway. If you get your 4 points, and you're out 70% of your contracts, 80%, leave the rest for runners, sure, but like, if every trade you're trying to hit a home run, I just don't think you're going to hit it. Badger just messaged me. He's doing family stuff, but he's trading off his phone. He's long. Fucking Badger. Yeah, Matthew, you really need to work on your planning is fucking 90% of it. It is 90% of the game. Bowser's at 510 points. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to figure out now, Cloudy, if I should be running larger stops. Here's the thing, right? To me, you want to. I always find my strats because they go for home runs, but when I look at them over a course of the year, the only way to get the sexy guys. Exactly. Like so. Bowser will talk to me. He'll say, "Oh, dude, look, you could have shorted 92s or 90." And look, that was a whatever. What was that? Like 70 points or something? 50 points? That was a 50-point trade. But to me, why wouldn't you just get out at the 87s or 88s and then you leave a runner on for all that stuff? The same way, let's take something that wasn't a home run trade. When I was trying to long 65s, it only gave 10 points. And in reality, I would have been looking for a break of the high of the day for that runner, right? So I would have broken even on the runners. And if I only got half out at, +5 and the rest just breaks even, to me it's just a waste. It just feels like a waste. So what I'm trying to do is get to the point where I can figure out, should I be using a larger stop and then not messing with it as much, right? The only issue I have is that if you get ran over, it's for a lot of points. Right now, I'm so accurate that, a 2-point stop, it's not the end of the world. If I like the trade, look, if I shorted 92s and it stop run to 95 instead, this way I can just hit 95. Because it could also have stop run to 98 or 100. This was a great example the other day. If I was looking to short, I don't know, 06, I would have gone stop run to 13. Right? Whereas if I had my stop at 08, I get maybe, you get a screwy order and you get stop down at 09, you get a -3. But it's better than getting a -5 or 6 or whatever, or a 7. And it looks like I'm pretty precise most days. I mean, you know me, I seem to just miss fills more than anything. Bowser wants a link. Here's the thing, right? So I don't know if Bowser tuned in yet, but so Bowser's got his tight stops, right? And I get it because Bowser likes to keep mean reversion trading, so it makes sense. Jackass Bowser. Whereas that JX guy, the guy who kind of taught me how to trade, he just wants to hit one trade and be done, right? Like if he thinks 60-ish is going to hold on the day, he wants 55 as a stop, and he'll take 65 as his profit, right? If it goes to 50, he's no longer interested in hitting it long. He's just like, oh, fuck it, like I'm done. Like it took me out for 5 points, I'm done. Tried basing it off of volatility, ATR, a dynamic stop. Thank you, Nash. Who is Nash? Are you from Twitter? Are you from Discord? Where are you from? Talking about Bowser's DMing me. Talking about your stops. Yeah, exactly. Talking about your stops. We all know the -2 is the secret, right? No, what I was saying is that, yeah, exactly what you're writing to me is that when your stops are tight, you can just keep mean reverting, and eventually you get that whoosh to the upside in this case, which is a method. It's definitely a method. It's just you gotta take a fucking beating to get there. You're like Muhammad Ali, right? You're like Rocky. You're like Rocky. You're just taking a shit kicking all the way down sometimes, but then when you win, you win. I like the idea of a 2-point stop just because my levels tend to work on 2 points of MAE. That 65 half didn't even fill. What was this? 61 quarter? I think that took exactly 2 points. What was the low? Oh, it took 2 1/4. Exactly. I just don't. I don't like getting beat up either. I feel like Bowser's gonna DM me and say I'm a pussy. 20-point stop on NQ. So back when I used to pay attention to NQ, that would be equivalent to, I think, a 5-point ES stop. I remember thinking of NQ as a multiplier of 4 compared to ES. It's like a 5-point move on ES would be 20 on the Qs. There you go. Now he's DMing me, telling me I'm a pussy. A lot of my trades take 2 MA, and so I'd just be on tilt if I got stopped and had to go back in. Interesting. So you would rather take the 6-point stop out than just take the -2 and then get, so like, let's say you were, I know where you were short, but let's say you were short at 55. You would rather take the stop at 61 or whatever than get stopped at 57 and then try it again at 59. You just find it ends up being too much noise. Because to me, like I was trying to short 54 over there, right? To me, I short 54. I got to stop at 56. If that gets hit, I reassess the situation, which I guess goes into the fact that I'm using a more subjective MGI method. Interesting. See, like I know you let yourself take 2 losses a day. Yeah, exactly what you're saying. It's more subjective, emotional, MGI kind of stuff, right? To me, I'd rather take the -2 and then evaluate the situation. Like, let's say for whatever reason I was short at 54 here, right when I was running the stops. I get stopped at 56. I see this shit happening. I'm not looking to short it again. Whereas if I had a 5-point stop going, I get stopped at 59. Shit, I probably get filled at 60. I get what you're saying though. I get it. I get that all your shit is aimed at at minimizing the emotional part. Look at us unable to get back inside last week's value at 61.25. See, what did this go up to? Yeah, see, this didn't even hit 63.25. Interesting. I mean, it makes sense. If that's what the numbers are showing you, then fuck it, right? Is this thing gonna run the lows again? No way, right? I kind of want to long it. Should I hit it, Cloud? Let's see if it can get back inside 53. Or if it flushes. Long. Stop is 51. I'm gonna get flushed here. Trading live is a tough game. Yikes. I think I'm going to get ran here. Bonk. Only interested in NQ if it flushes below low the day, otherwise yes. Busta crayons. Attaboy. What are we talking about? Yeah, see, I find these are the worst trades, I think. But what there we go. Now it's moving. Of course it nails me to the tick. Isn't that offensive? Nails me to the tick and then it moves off. These guys are really going to flush all because I announced where my stop is on stream. See, I think, and this helps, I don't know, it helps me to talk about it. I find my best trades are kind of the ones that I have, the ones I have from before the open, right? The idea that, okay, I want to be looking for a short in the mid-90s. Okay, I don't want to be longing these lower red zones that you're seeing on the screen. Those tend to be my best trades, I find. I find these in-between trades, I really have considered just kicking them out. Yeah, they're all manipulated. They're all a bunch of... It's all crap. It's all BS. Do you get what I mean, Cloudy? Like pre-market, when I look at... I don't know why people get annoyed when others do. Pre-market, or I guess I should say yesterday, the day before, the night prior, when I think of the levels that I'm interested in and the zones and how I want to play them and the market structure and this, that, and the other thing, I find that's when I do the best. Like, when I'm thinking, oh, okay, like maybe I can take this 52 long and get to 56-ish, 57, I find those are my worst trades. And I've considered actually, the only reason I don't get rid of footprint is because the footprint I find, the footprint I find can help me avoid trades that I shouldn't be taking. But maybe I should put it also the way that the footprint kind of relieves anxiety for me. In that I can see what's actually happening while the candle is moving around. You know? Like footprint is just so fucking great. I love it. In the past, you know, if I was short, whatever it was, 53 or 54, when I was short here, I would be kind of freaking out, like, oh God, I don't know what's happening. Like, what's happening here? I don't know, right? I personally find my levels, for whatever reason, whatever, they tend to work on 2 points. 2 points. That's what I think it is. I think if I had to, maybe I'll write this down. I think it's really funny because people are like, oh, streaming, doesn't that make you harder to trade? It does. It's way harder to trade on stream. That's why I'm not trading with like any sort of real size. My desk is so dirty. it's definitely hard to trade on stream. But the good thing it does is it lets me kind of think about my process and lets me verbalize it. Now I'm curious if we can take out that swing low at 49-ish, 48 3/4. If we take out that, it should flush down to the that volume down around 45. Like if things are going slow, you can just check if there's a lot of those. Exactly. I was talking about that earlier, I think before you came in, but you can actually see if it's just, a bullshit chop, just bullshit, like, deltas are neutral, like they're just flipping red, blue, red, green, like nothing's really happening. Or you can see if, okay, deltas are like, this 10-15 thing, right? That's why I was laughing when you said earlier in the day, you're like, or they give one candle to screw everyone over. I was looking at this, all this green delta piling up. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Then you see them trap shorts at the lows, and you're like, okay, I don't want to short this thing. 30. What? That's a. I think it's a there. I feel like it just fucking closed that stupid gap already. Come on. Yeah, 3 candles wipe it all out. Exactly. There we go. Now it looks like we're going to take out that swing low. Who said, sellers are in control because more red candles than green. Yeah. Yeah. So taking out that swing low, if we had an option there's the high at 62.5, down to the break of 48.5. Now it looks like it, eh? So 52s should be the auction pot. So between 52 to 54 is where I'd be looking for a short. So I was saying if this swing low breaks, I think it'll come down to that, whatever that is, 45-ish, 45 1/4-ish. Ooh, look at this thing. Just a fucking monster, isn't it? Wow. Short. I'm just monkeying around. Where am I in at? 53.75. Oh, got filled at 54. What a weird. Ah. Whee. There we go. Look at this thing go. Cloudy, you can stand at it. Back to 61s. Jesus Christ, 6,000 delta. Fuck. I think this is a great example. Look, so I got hit for like a minus 0.5 or something. So instead of a minus 10, I get a minus 0.5. Oh, did you hit? Let me check. Where the hell are you at? Oh, I see. Oh, so you keep your. I didn't realize you keep your stop the same on that on your runners. Crazy. Interesting. And then what percentage? Yeah, totally. And so what percentage of your position do you keep as runners? Like 25? I don't really like more than 25%. Oh, wow. Wow. So if you're in like 10 contracts, what, you take like 2 or 3 as your runners? Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think Bowser added some on the way down there. He added at 47. He added at 47. Plus 20, plus 20, plus 20, plus 20. Yeah, this son of a bitch is going to finish at 700 points. He's a freak. Curious if they can hold this 61 area now. I mean, the thing is that so I like trading MES because you can just peel, you know, if my take profit, if I'm short 54 and my take profit's at 50, if it's dancing around at 50 and a quarter, I'll take, whatever. If I'm short 10 contracts, I'll take 4 off at 50 and a quarter and then 4 off at 49.75 or something. Totally. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I always wondered, like, if Bowser or Badger was trading with even higher leverage, like, would they just do worse? Or would they do better? You know? Like, if they just aimed for one trade instead, I imagine they'd do worse because if you're aiming for one trade and your first few shots at the mean reversion don't work, then you're donezo. I've got no idea what this is going to do. This is some wacky action. My plan was saying below 3853 we should be getting into 3800, and that's not working right now. Yeah, I think they would get wiped out. I think they would. Which is crazy. Yeah, low consecutive draw. That's what I've realized as well. Which is just that's hilarious. Hey, like two guys who are just absolute, freaking wingnut crazy profitable traders who would be absolute losers if they tried a different style. Totally. I mean, like I've seen Badger draw down. I don't even know, man. I don't even know how many points. Like a lot, a lot. That's how many. A lot. I've seen him draw down a lot. Bowser usually doesn't get drawn down as a lot. Yeah, max consecutive drawdown. It's key. What I realized is that most days, if I'm at -6 on the day, it's probably just not worth it. Totally. Yeah, -6. So three trades for me. If I'm down three trades on the day, yeah, there's just a very very low likelihood that I'm gonna make the fourth. The plus side is that all I need is one trade to make up for the missed three. Usually, if I take core off at four and then I run the rest. I'm always just surprised how they can mentally tolerate that too. Badger's been in the game forever, so I get it. He's just he's fine with whatever. I've seen Badger put on some healthy size when he believes he's right. When he thinks a move is bullshit, he'll call bullshit on it with more than a few lots. Let's put it that way. Any RR above one. Yeah, I mean it's funny, right? So like JX, uh, VWAP Trader, JJ, you, all these guys I know who were profitable. A lot of them just trade with almost a 1-1 RR. Like JX takes half off at 5 and then he runs the rest for 10. So that's like a 1.5 R. JJ's usually trading for like a 1 R, maybe like a 1.5 sometimes. He's extremely MGI based, right? So he might short 65 here and he'll trail his stop within like 4 ticks. And he might end up getting popped out at 63 and whatever, he's good with it. So like trading 62 right now, he'd have his stop at 62 half. Now it's 62. Now it's 61 3/4. Now it's 61 quarter. There you go. He's out at 61 quarter, right? So he took 4 points, and he doesn't care if it flushes down more, whatever. Uh, it's funny to me how like on the Twitterverse, people are always like, oh well, if your RR is 4-1, then all you need is one winner for every 4 losers. But then the thing you have to think about is if you took 4 losers, why are you so incorrect? Why are you so wrong about what's happening? That's how I think about it. You know? Oh god, yeah, there's that too. People saying, "Oh yeah, fit." What does Mancini say? Doesn't Mancini say he uses like a 10 or 20 point stop? 10 or 20 point stop. It's like what the fuck, a 10 or 20 point stop? I thought about at one point using a 10 point stop. Just the thought being that like you have to be so wrong to you know what it is. I wonder if it's because like I think Mancini's older, right? He's been trading for a while. I wonder if he was trading in the pre-algorithm days, where like okay, if they're selling this thing off right now, they just keep letting it bleed, Whereas nowadays, like if it sells off, there's a number to the tick that it's going to hit. So like these days, if I was short, I'm short at 92.75. I'm not shorting, 92.75 and thinking that they might drag it on up to 02.75. No, no, no. That's two totally different spots to me. So I wonder if that's what it is. He changes with the weather. Yeah, to me, it's uh, does he actually change with the weather? I thought that was a joke. So to me, the idea between a huge stop is that you have to be so wrong in order to be wrong, right? Like if you were looking in general, if you were thinking, I don't think this is gonna go break out over '06 today, then you would just short 3,900, let's say, or 30 what 38.95 would be where you're looking to short in general, and everything around that just ends up being noise. But to me, like, so I get the general idea that if you're generally looking to be long or short, you just need to kind of get the general zone right within a 10 or 20 point margin of error. But the problem is that it sounds fine in theory, but the problem is that that means you have to get 10 to 20 points of profit. Which again, that might sound okay, but what do you do when you get 7 points in profit? Do you leave your stop at -10 or -20? No. You move your stop to break even, and then you get tagged, and then you had a break even trade, and your risk was 10 or 20 points, which to me is crazy. Instead, I would do what Cloudy's saying, which is, you short it, use a tighter stop, and you take a smaller profit because it's just more probable. Yeah. Oh, dude, I believe you. I will drop a wide zone on a monthly plan. I think even the weekly plan sometimes has a super wide zone, but in general, that's not to be thought of as like day trading. Here we go. These are some wide levels over here, wide zones over here. But like this is more so like, oh, here's balance, right? Like that's what I'm like, okay, this is a balance low kind of area. That's a gap close. This in general just has a bunch of shit. So like this is for like high time frame stuff. And I get shit pretty accurate. That 41.37, think he would come down to 85, I think. No, 57 was where I was saying the weekly lows would be in. It's like I got it within a cumulative of 5 points MAE on the high and the low. So, but I will think in terms of zones. But that's a weekly time frame. You come down to the daily, right? The daily are tight. 4 points, 3 points, 4 points, 5. This I am saying not to trade because I don't even know what the exact spot is. So it's more so a note for me in the future to be like, oh, figure out a proper spot for it. 7 points, 6 points, 6-ish, 7-ish. I try and have all my zones be less than 10. I try for the most part. this is a crapshoot now. I'm done trading for the rest of the day. This is messy spaghetti. We didn't get the sell-off that I was looking for. No good. I might actually hop off now because I think it's been. Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it. I've been on for, I think, 3 hours, 2 hours. Yep. Totally. Like, I made that video. It's on the YouTube channel. It's about levels. And, like, the first thing I say is, oh, like, the weekly structural levels give me, like, an area of interest. And then I go down to the day, like, the 1 minute chart and I figure out the exact spot, right? Like, that's how I came up with the 92s. Or this area here, the 61 quarter, whatever. Or the auction levels. Like, those are all very. It's pretty close to mechanical. Or, you know, I was looking at this kind of 74-ish area. All it is the middle of this day, I think. I think the high was 95 that day. So 95 to the low. Yeah, 74. 74 was just the middle. That's cruel. That's cruel. I mean, it's interesting to me, right? Like, some people go like, oh, well, you know, levels aren't all that matter. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I think levels are pretty much all that matters. Like, every now and again, yeah, I won't take a certain trade because of what I'm looking at, right? On the footprint or something. But for the most part, a level should function. Like, I said that I wasn't looking to long these lows. It's just because I thought there's a high chance it gets stop run. The level still worked. Worked here again. That worked. Worked to the downside. Worked there. You know, like, whatever. The levels tend to work. Exactly. It's interesting because people people will draw a level and then you'll see like 10 times where it doesn't work and they go, oh, no, 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 like it's just, you know, you just blah, 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 blah. It's like, for the most part, your level should be working, buddy. Totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 100%. Today on that stop out, that was one of those times where where I was like, oh, I don't know if that one's going to work. Just because the way it was setting up, I was like, oh, fuck, I don't think, I saw it working though. Like, I definitely saw it working beforehand. You got kind of gypped in the morning, but I saw it working during that Euro closey kind of time. It's just once we had accumulated and we'd had this, like, this, you know, everyone's stops are above here, and it matched up with kind of the high of the day. It was just an annoying spot, just the way the day built out. Back to 72. Oh man, Bowser keeps adding. I love it. Yeah, that too. The 58 was when you hit the 58, I was like, oh god, I can't. I was like, oh god, he's shorting that. His profit is one tick off the low of the day. I didn't know about that. Totally, totally. I thought you got flattened when we ran back up here, or yeah, here. I thought you got bead. I didn't realize you actually keep your stop as is. That's interesting. All right, I'm gonna hop off. I've got no interest in really trading this for the rest of the day. Thank you for stopping in, Mr. Cloud. Hopefully we can get some of those the sloppy people in here as well. I will show the merc to all 9 people watching on my Twitter. Go ahead and follow that stuff. Alrighty, see you later, Cloud.